Police manhandle uniformed soldier. Court rules in favour of LNG landowners. And new grandstand and footbridge for remote cultural show. Good evening and welcome. This is Monday's news. I'm Kilawani. Papua New Guinea's two disciplined forces today displayed unruly behavior in front of a busy Port Moresby crowd. Around midday, a soldier in uniform was punched and kicked by policemen at Boroko in the nation's capital. Police are still gathering information on the alleged incident that led to the confrontation between the police and the army. But the public say the continuous infighting between the police and the army keeps painting a bad picture on the relationship between the supposedly disciplined forces. Some of the scenes in this report was captured on social media.
At 11 a.m. today, the public at Boroko witnessed an assault committed by policemen, an incident described as unbecoming of disciplined men. A member of the PNGDF who was in full uniform was kicked and punched several times before being dragged into a police vehicle and taken to Boroko police station. However, details on what sparked the confrontation is yet to be confirmed by police, particularly the investigating officers. This video circulating on social media captures members of the PNGDF who were in full uniform speeding away from the Boroko police station. Few seconds later, one of the soldiers who was left behind was apprehended by police, assaulted, and later taken to the Boroko police station. Gunshots were fired as angry policemen from other units secured the perimeter of the Boroko police station. This forced business houses and government offices to temporarily close for business. After the gunshots, military police and senior PNGDF officers arrived at Boroko police station in an attempt to resolve the matter. They met with NCD and Central Divisional Commander Anthony Wagambi Jr. Confrontations between the police and the army in Port Moresby usually result from minor issues which are alcohol-related. While the police hierarchy is yet to comment on this, PNGDF Commander Gilbert Toropo says the PNGDF hierarchy feels that the soldier is at fault and they are managing this issue through their disciplinary process. Meanwhile, during Parliament sitting last week, Enga Governor Sir Peter Ipatas raised questions concerning the infighting between members of the two disciplinary forces and the fear that may confront us during the 2022 national elections.
But the important message that I'm trying to continuously get across to our Parliament and our country is that if we get law and order right, everything will go right in this country.
Teklagunga, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, senior officers from the PNGDF and the police met this afternoon to resolve the issue. A clan in the PNG LNG project in Hela is now at the verge of receiving its benefits. A recent court decision was handed down with the Petroleum Chief Warden presenting a copy to the Tuguba Walo clan. Tuguba Walo Chairman Eddie Peno says after almost 11 years of wait, their delayed payments will now be released by the developer ExxonMobil and the state.
The decision was handed down by the National Court. Recently, a copy of the decision was presented to the members and leaders of the Tuguba Walo clan recently in Port Moresby. The Petroleum Chief Warden presented the decision.
One may be obstructed, you can go to National Court or no person to BLC, you can talk to one time ExxonMobil can come to the government, probably even by now round table na to come kind of. So Isla me give this now, me give come to the chairman blah MCSIM, and minimum so work me or some Siboran and finish.
The Tukubawalo clan hosts a significant area of land in the PDL-7. Unlike other resource owners, this group has registered a business arm, ILG, and boasts a registered title in and around the project site. The clan's chairman says they are fortunate to reach the decision and look forward to work with developer Exxon and the state.
Project now, they want static amiblo and this one project. It come now because economic country, so we bin bakara bin this time bin this lagan. Osim na all in la staff bin come last year, some come this year, and this la work also. But all patient, all respect them come on blow today. Now all respect them department. That's all. No other one blood this time come up now until he come now and do this now. This land this in to one by harem, now by you walk close to one them pla. So all I stop here after long this land this in action it to one now by me block on plus. You making good blood to do me block Bahamas. Now nungu to me block Bahamas. So now once now me blocking down me block Bahamas. That's all. Corporate one them no work one them. Me block no another block ting.
Tukubawalo Treasurer Moses Peno, who has worked behind the scenes, says despite threats and various protests by landowners, their clan had always followed proper process and procedures to raise grievances. He says the clan awaits to work with all stakeholders as they await ExxonMobil to respond to the decision.
Now all the clan members Tukubawalo Papa long ground only come stop now lawyer. Long witness him now receive him this decision where Chief Warren hand him down. Now this will come hand from people now. So people by corporate one time you ExxonMobil developer and you mean by work one time. Here I come.
A similar copy of the decision was presented to ExxonMobil last week. Jack Lapava Jr., National EMTV News.
Work on upgrading the Kavieng Airport to international standards continues steadily since a groundbreaking ceremony was held in July 2020. Included is the upgrade of the runway from 1.7 to 2.2 kilometers. So far, the extra 500 meters on the southern end has been completed, with finishing touches being added to ensure the runway is clear of any obstruction. A security fence is being installed further towards the runway extension boundary. Although the airport is being funded by the Asian Development Bank at a cost of 91 million kina, it is a project under the Lihir MOA signed by New Ireland Governor Sir Julius Chen when he was Prime Minister in 1995. The multi-million kina airport project is expected to be completed in July 2022. Once the Kavieng International Airport is fully completed, it will cater for Boeing 737-800 series type aircrafts, opening up New Ireland to the world. United Nations Capital Development Fund is hosting a Challenge Fund bootcamp working in concert with European Union-funded Straight PNG and the Bank of Papua New Guinea. This challenge is aimed at revitalizing existing economic opportunities in rural populations. The three-day boot camp started today at the APEC House in the nation's capital.
They're not early adopters. But
7 Papua New Guinean MSMEs and SMEs are amongst 9 shortlisted teams to participate in a 3-day jointly implemented boot camp to vie for over $90,000 worth of grant assistance. A jointly implemented challenge by UNCDF, BPNG, Straight PNG and supported by the European Union aimed at promoting and scaling solutions for enhancing agriculture enterprise development in the CIPIC region.
This is the day one of a 3-day boot camp for the Agri MSME Challenge Fund PNG 2021. What essentially we are doing is we are running this boot camp wherein 9 teams, which includes fintechs, agri-techs, microbank, training service providers, e-commerce solution providers, community support bodies, that will be pitching their solutions for making the ecosystem developed in the CEPIC provinces. And UNCDF has organized this challenge fund to identify leading solutions that we can support through grant funding, technical assistance, and mentorship support, and bring these solutions to deploy in the SEPIC provinces, both East and West SEPIC.
The bootcamp commenced today with an overview of and introduction of the three-day initiative. As rural populations suffer from the economic shutdown of the COVID-19 pandemic, the program is designed to bolster the support to rural entrepreneurship.
This is being implemented for 5 years in the two SEPIC provinces, with the objective that we would want to work in these three agri-value chains, namely cocoa, vanilla, and fisheries, and help to improve the efficiencies and effectiveness of these value chains, such that the benefits of the cash crops that are there in these provinces, the income and the livelihood and the standard of living of the people engaged in the value chains enhance, and there are better returns that comes to the farmers into these value chains.
One of the participating SMEs, Agritech PNG Limited CEO, is delighted to be a participant.
Aside from the learning that comes with meeting new people and the networks that are developed around here, I think the biggest gain for us as innovators in the space is some of the learnings that come with developing solutions, just the workflow, and also tapping into some of those resources that come with an event such as this, all the expertise that come with it, the specialists, and the training that happens beforehand before we actually go and pitch our solutions to the jury. There's a lot of good developers here to begin with. We've got some big corporates here as well who are also vying for that prize. You'll find that I think that's one of the advantages. We've built our solutions to cater for PNG problems. And that's the value we bring into this competition. And I mean, I wish everyone here the best. Hopefully we win, but you know, it's anybody's guess right now because the competition is so strong. So we'll see how we go.
The bootcamp will conclude on Wednesday with successful pitchers walking away with over $90,000 worth of grant assistance.
Applicability into the SEPIC provinces and help the teams to fine-tune their pitch. And the day 3 is the D-Day, when these 9 teams are going to pitch their solutions to a high-level jury. And the jury consists of regulators, leading businessmen, development partners, stakeholders from the project, and the SME Council. So this jury that is going to judge these pitches made by the 9 participants will come up with the top 5. And those 5 teams which will emerge as the winners will become partners of UNCDF. So that's the stage where the partnership starts, and we will work sustainable projects. We will develop projects with these teams and provide them with grant funding, technical assistance, and mentorship support to implement these solutions into the SEPIC, work with the people, work with the communities, and benefit the value chains and the people of SEPIC.
You're watching National EMTV News. More stories after these messages. Welcome back to the news. PNG Trade and Directories Limited customers can now pay for services instantly online without using their Visa debit cards to make advertisement payments for both print and online directories. PNGDL is one of the latest merchants to join BSP's Pay Online services launched earlier this year. PNGDL CEO Jesse Pendena says business transformation and modernization is the way forward to allow businesses to remain competitive in today's market setting.
PNG Trade and Directories Limited is a subsidiary of Telecom Holdings and an official publisher of directory books for PNG and the Solomon Islands. PNGDL, commonly trading as Yellow Pages, has been in operation since the inception of Telecom PNG and is an authorized publisher of directory books in the country. As part of the business modernization and transformation strategy, management has invested in mobile and internet technologies to improve their customer experience and further boost service standards for directory services in the country. In a statement released recently, Chief Executive Officer for PNGDL, Jesse Pendene, says with the growing use of mobile and internet technologies in the country, the board and management have to think outside of the normal to venture into online business, especially given that it is a credit business where businesses subscribe in the current year and revenue is collected in the following year. The PNG Trade and Directories Limited has become one of the latest registered merchants under BSP Pay online payment gateway, which was launched in the second quarter of this year and was captured in the third quarter results presentation for BSP.
BSP Pay, we have 9 merchants offering our internet online payment solution, and we continue to work with merchants who can offer the e-commerce for customers who don't have a scheme card.
As per the bank's third quarter results presentation, merchants such as RH Trading, ShopSmart PNG, Market Wheels, Solar Paygo, Jungle Online and Tapioca Delight are already registered on the BSP Pay domestic online payment solution.
There's 2 components to our BSP Pay offerings. One is your more traditional internet payment gateway for customers who have scheme cards, a Visa card, a MasterCard or some other form of scheme card, which enables them to complete an e-commerce transaction using their scheme card. The second component, which is our BSP Pay, enables customers who don't have a scheme card, just customers who have a normal Kundu account, but who are registered with mobile banking, and they can use that account.
Mr. Pendene says his management is currently in talks with mother company Telecom Holdings and other sister SOE companies like Post PNG for a possible partnership for the online shop concept using their retail distribution network in the country. He said onboarding of BSP Pay is a key achievement to support the company's ongoing online plans. Dennis Orere, National EMTV News.
A research published by Lowy Institute shows that the rollout of vaccination in Papua New Guinea remains the slowest in the Pacific region. This report projects that up to 2/3 of PNG's adult population may still be largely unprotected from COVID-19 come 2026. The research projects that by the end of 2021, PNG will have vaccinated just under 2.5% of the total population. Further projects are that come 2026, only 35% of the adult population in PNG will be vaccinated. Meanwhile, the total number of diagnosed cases in the last 21 days is 1,177. Newly reported cases is 133. Newly reported deaths 2, and total number of deaths from COVID-19 so far is 486. The Daulo District Development Authority presented coffee pulping machines and fertilizers to various coffee farmers in the district recently. This is to support coffee farmers rehabilitate their plantations and to help develop the coffee industry. The presentation was made at Foinda Village in Daulo District of Eastern Highlands Province.
Other coffee pulping machines and fertilizers presented to coffee farmers at Foinda Village. A total of 80,000 kina was also presented to the farmers to help rehabilitate their coffee plantations. This assistance comes under the Daulo District's Coffee Rehabilitation Program, and it is aimed at developing the coffee industry and increase coffee production in Daulo District.
This land got the rest of the Tassarosan. Thank you, Lord. Honorable member, I want to send you making everyone a voice. Thank you. Continue support you.
Daulo District over the years has been one of the leading coffee producing districts in the country with over 13 coffee plantations and smallholder farmers. But due to years of neglect by government authorities, most coffee plantations have run down and most smallholder farmers have also left coffee for other businesses.
Man start less look out in coffee, planting coffee now. Planting man only go back walk garden. lo planim cabbage or carrot, onion, potato or this kind cow bag, all this pla. So coffee only no got interest lower them. Coffee ga plan di hatok longen na two price blongen all middleman only sabe rausin plantin only game liri lo all growers. Plan di hatok is come up lo all growers. Lo kilim grass die, prunim coffee, cut him, walking barret, drainage. All this is something I need plan the money through.
With the initiative to rehabilitate these coffee plantations, the Daulo DDA is using DSIP funds to support coffee farmers.
Steamships, you come down, you go to the half side, Roca, you lo Numbia, lo 134, or Watamire, or you lo get a coffee meal like in all the touching the plantation. Touching the plantation mean like revive all the plantation because now you're even looking heavy the plantation go down, money and no got down district.
Under the coffee rehabilitation program, the Daulo DDA is supporting smallholder farmers with fertilizers, coffee pulping machines and other necessities. And there are plans to rehabilitate all 13 plantations to increase quality and production. Local Lempi Pogio Gate says coffee has the potential to generate over 12 million kina in revenue.
Coffee you need dollar producing and Mr. Kano in smallholders or farmers. Now 30% have come to plantation here. Now you try to think him. You try to think him about give me all the man of coffee plantation, the block holders, and you may get achieving more than 20 or 15 million to 20 million a year long at the time.
The local markets will be made available to coffee farmers in the district. He further urged all coffee farmers to go back into farming. Rayon Lakingu National, EMTV News.
With the help of its partners, the Kutubu Kundu and Digaso Festival Committee has built a new grandstand and a footbridge. The Worldwide Fund for Nature PNG supported them with a new grandstand while the locals built their own footbridge. The festival will be held in September next year and will showcase the unique culture of this remote part of the country.
The Kutubu Kundu and Digaso Festival, which attracts thousands of tourists every year since its inception in 2011, was on hold for 2 years due to COVID-19. It is attractions showcasing its famous cultural wonders, one being the long houseman or hood of the Foi people. The committee has worked closely with partners such as the Worldwide Fund for Nature, Southern Highlands Provincial Government, Oil Search, and MRDC to keep the show going. WWF PNG has seen the local Daga community's effort in conserving their culture, language and tradition and has supported them in building a proper grandstand to hold visitors during the festival.
Mika master night na plantil manol ama master lugimi. So to go boss Mary. But you go inside na lugim houseman. Na mi toge mol kalsa blimi em tog Mary na gola houseman. So mi no na go. Em passing we by me look out in passing kalsa na passing tumbo na blimi. Na WWF staff lo strong in this laka in passing.
The footbridge was the initiative of the local Daga consular Timothy Dusabo. This is for tourists to be able to walk across on the other side of the lakes and rivers. The locals are also promoting the protection of its biodiversity and have inspired the revival of traditional practices through its performances during the festivals.
That's why Mibla been trying best for Mibla community, you put input for you. Also heavy blackstone, giving baskets, clearing what is la bush, working mixing cement. Now you me completing this bridge blow you me. But you kalabanda plus la hard work blow you.
Despite living in a resource-rich electorate, problems still remain. Poor road condition, aid posts and health centers and schools without workers are common. The locals see the festival as a tool for development. The Southern Highlands Provincial Government is the major sponsor of the festival, injecting 100,000 kina in order to generate an economic boom in this part of the country.
You survey one playtime could ball by finish. Highest gas here by police. You buy KLO is like outside blow you stop. Tourists buy come. That tourist money comes straight to your house door. You must all in pass him this la. Pass him blow to blow you now you welcome the yellow man.
Vastinata Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the kina closed unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina is buying $0.2775 $0.3776 Australian dollars, $0.2361 euro, and 31.11 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading higher, coffee closed lower, cocoa and copper closed higher. Crude oil is trading higher, palm oil and copper closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading higher. You're watching National EMTV News. More stories after this break. Welcome back to the news. 19 individuals graduated as missionaries over the weekend after undergoing the theology course at the Martin Luther Seminary. They are now recognized as missionaries under the Evangelical Lutheran Church and will be posted to Lutheran churches throughout the country. Of the 19, 7 graduated with bachelor's and 12 graduated with diplomas.
The graduation ceremony began with COVID-19 awareness, which was led by the principal of Martin Luther Seminary, Reverend Michael Rupulga. This was compulsory as Reverend Rupulga said the seminary was given approval to host the graduation under strict COVID-19 measures. The principal said the number of graduates was less this year compared to previous years due to COVID-19. The pandemic also caused financial constraints for the seminary.
We would normally, get the school fees from the students and a little bit of donation from the National Church. And then we have some houses on rent that some people come and rent and we make money from that. But because of the COVID-19, our income has been affected. Many students that did not come, and even some of our tenants have not been paying, and we were running on very, very tight rope.
Martin Luther Seminary is run by the Lutheran Church and offers theological and biblical studies. The recent graduation was the 49th for the seminary. The principal said the greatest achievement for this year was being able to complete the academic year amidst the pandemic. Bishop of the Evangelical Lutheran Church of PNG, Reverend Jack Urame, was one of the guests at the graduation. He encouraged the graduates to be committed and dedicated to their work.
Discipline themselves and to continue to preach the word of God. Because, as Jesus said, they are salt and light of the world.
Bishop Urame also elaborated the importance of pastoral work, saying the profession is attached to churches, which play a vital role in the society. Meanwhile, Morabe's former governor Kelly Naru was among the 19 who graduated last weekend. Charlene Eri, National EMTV News, Lay.
You're watching National EMTV News. Trukai Sports is next. All the details when we come back.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. Cricket PNG successfully hosted the Village Premier League T10 tournament over the weekend at Amini Park. Yesterday saw the Curry's Indians and Pari Knight Riders compete in the grand final. Curry's beat Pari by 10 wickets to claim the 10,000 kina prize money.
Knight Raiders required 55 runs off 36.
8 teams were slotted in 2 pools competing for the grand prize. The 2 days match thrilling tournament was entertaining with the participation of 17 current Kumul Petroleum PNG Barramundi players, 10 under-19 squad members along with many former Barras. Despite playing a new format, the T10 competition turn-up was overwhelming.
We got 8 teams, it was great. We had a team from Popondetta, Pari, obviously the local teams from the NCD area. But they came out and we played a format. We played ways that we weren't used to here. My staff weren't used to how to run a tournament like this. We had officials, we treated it like internationals, the standard of play.
With great interest shown by players, it was down to 2 last exceptional teams that made it to the final. The Indian Curries, led by former Barramundi Sese Bau, took the strides on the cricket pitch. Bau and teammate Vani Morea helped Curries beat the Pari Knight Riders by 10 wickets. Bau and Morea had a combination of 81 runs to claim the 2021 Village Premier League title as Curries walked home with 10,000 kina. Pari had a couple of Barramundi players, including captain Asad Vala and bowler Damian Vravu, but this didn't stop the Indian side from registering their name in the T10 competition. This is the first of its kind for such tournament to be hosted by Cricket PNG. Although it's a new concept, similar events will be held in the future.
Because we're going to keep doing tournaments like this. This is only the first. It's definitely not the last. I've already got dates planned for next year. And we're working through the details of how teams will go, but this format works and it brings excitement.
To conclude the tournament, players were selected to form 2 teams, named as Anuabada and Rest of the World. Both will compete this coming Saturday to wind down the 2021 Cricket PNG season. Suli Suli, Trukai Sports.
The newly elected executives of the PNG Rugby Football Union want to create a more inclusive environment around the sport, promoting the code of rugby union to a wider section of the community.
PNG Rugby Football Union wants to put the years of stagnation and political infighting behind it and focus on getting the code of rugby back on track in the country.
We have to create a system that runs on its own. The game and the competition and everything that happens in rugby must not depend on people. It must depend on a structure. So once we set the structure right, doesn't matter who comes in or who stays on, it'll run by itself.
With changes on the horizon for the governing body itself, the new administration also wants to get its development programs up and running, not only focusing on players, but coaches and match officials as well.
There's not only women's rugby, there's deaf rugby and there's getting rugby program. So all kinds of programs running concurrently. We have to, as the mother body, we find the money to invest in these programs. Not only invest in the game, we invest in the technical officials, in the referees, in the linesmen. We invest in the knowledge. We build the knowledge around the game. When we do this, we build the interest.
Huxley Lovai, Trukai Sports.
And that story ends Trukai Sports. The weather report is next. All the details after the break.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
Weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. Southern region, Port Moresby, becoming partly cloudy with brief showers and possible inland thunderstorms. Daru and Alotau partly cloudy. Kerma and Popondetta becoming partly cloudy with brief showers possible. For the Mamase region, all centers becoming partly cloudy with brief showers. New Guinea Islands region, Lorengau, Kimbe, partly cloudy with few showers. Kavieng, brief showers. Kokopo, Rabaul and Buka, partly cloudy. And the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, becoming partly cloudy with some showers and possible thunderstorms. Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg becoming partly cloudy with some showers.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
the way it is this Monday, 22nd of November 2021. From all of us here at EMTV, have a pleasant working week. Bye for now.